Chapter 3. Summer Nights in Ghana. I wonder what customs are like. And Diddy thinks to herself, will they stop me? Wait, why would they stop me? I'm just a student traveling. I don't know. Something always happens to me. Maybe I'm overthinking it. What if security stops me for some unknown reason? And I get dragged to a secret room and then they start asking me questions. And excuse me. And Didi gets out of her head and sees the employee at customs staring down at her with amusement. Sorry, what did you say? She responds. Why did you come to Ghana? Oh, I'm here for a study abroad from the University of Washington in Seattle. Are you a current student? Questioned the employee. Yes. Ndidi meets with the rest of the students to grab their luggage. After going through customs, they all find their Professor Ara and her assistant Chris. Professor Ara and Chris are UW teachers who run this study abroad annually. Professor Ara is Ghanaian, while Chris is Hawaiian. As she gets close to the outside door, she takes a deep breath. Africa is home. To be home felt like nothing else in the world could compare. While everyone is greeting the professor and her assistant, Ndidi opens the outside door and slowly takes 2 steps on the pavement. The warm night air kisses her face, her heart skips, and a huge smile comes across her face. The same warmth filled her body, crawling from the tips of her fingers to tingling her toes. As she walks toward her group's bus, she looks around the landscape outside the airport. The Washington State's trees were replaced with multiple coconut trees, palm trees, shea trees, cocoa trees, mango trees, I don't even know how to pronounce this, boab trees, and much more variations. She knew that this month in Ghana would be life-changing and one of the best experiences of her life. She gets on the bus that would be used for this trip. When she heard Coretta Bello's Romantic play on the radio, a viral song that year and one of the Ndidi's favorites, she knew again that this would be the best trip ever. Hi, my name is Ndidi. Hi, I'm Nisha. Did you get here with the rest of the group last night? It's the second day staying at their first location for the trip, Yuri Lodge in Accra, Ghana. The lodge was in the heart of the University of Ghana. They will stay at Yuri Lodge for the next 2 weeks before heading to their next city. Yeah, I did. You've been here for a couple of days, right? How has it been? Nisha replies, I haven't done much, so I'm excited to finally get started with the trip, now that everyone's here. Ndidi goes around the hotel and tries to ensure she meets all the students on the trip. After she walks around the lodge, she notices that the hotel is split in 2. One side of the hotel was a 1-story like lodge, and the other was a 2-story building hotel separated by a spacious courtyard in the middle. The lodge had renovated smaller rooms while the hotel was more old-fashioned but spacious. The students were spread out, with some staying in the lodge and the others staying in the hotel. After a few days in Ghana, Ndidi and her group toured parts of the school. They had a tour guide, Emmanuel, one of the coordinators for the trip. On the left is the university's library called Balme Library. This library was established in 1948 and was named after the university's first principal, David Mabry Balme. The bus circles a large rectangular fountain facing the library. It almost looked like a well-groomed old-fashioned library with the perfectly groomed trees, grass, bushes, and a fountain right in the middle. As they visited the library, they drove up a hill away from the school. As they were driving up, Ndidi's excitement started to rise and she waved at the driver in the car riding behind the bus. Initially, the vehicle was passing by, but as they got closer to the top of the hill, Ndidi and her colleagues noticed a car following them. They then realized that the driver Ndidi waved at had turned around from the direction he was going. And as soon as he was close enough to the bus, he started waving again to Ndidi. Wow, Ndidi, you already have someone that wants to marry you, said the professor as she giggled in amusement. Imaro then says, we are here. The bus reached a hilltop that showed a view that overlooked the significant parts of the city surrounding the university. This hilltop was considered part of the school, but was very secluded. It was a place where students and couples came to see the city lights. Indy steps out of the bus, and as she walks toward the tip of the hill, she slowly realizes why it is a favorite spot for many. This place was called Accra by Night. Indy starts next day. Indy starts getting used to her room and her space overall. As she gets up and gets ready for the day, she remembers that most of her colleagues would be at the cafeteria for breakfast. After breakfast, she and her colleagues head to the courtyard as they wait for the first lesson of their tree class. Akwaba, the language teacher, Dr. Owl, enters the courtyard, arms wide open, announcing her entrance. The professor was as animated as you could imagine. This was good for Ndidi because the only language she's been able to pick up was Spanish. Other than that, learning new languages was not something that came easily to her. Although she can fully understand her tribe's Igbo language, she cannot speak it naturally. She needed the professor's enthusiasm. As hours go by, Dr. Albert teaches greetings, marketplace etiquette, and conversational words. The students get excited as they leave for another adventure in Accra. They waited for Professor Ara and Chris by the bus. As they waited, Ndidi wondered if she fell asleep during the language session because it almost felt like a blur. She was sure that she was knocked out at some point during the lesson. During the past couple of years, Ndidi had difficulty staying awake in her regular classes back in the US. As soon as she sits down to watch a lecture, she immediately starts to feel drowsy. She's not sure why this kept happening, but took a mental note to check with her doctor when she returned home. Hey, everyone, I would like to introduce Adam. He will be supporting Emmanuel with planning and coordinating our trip. When we travel to our next cities, Adam will be the sole coordinator of the trip as Emmanuel will be moving to Canada for school, explains Professor Ara. Hello, it's nice to meet you all, says Adam. Ndidi was unsure how she felt about the switch because she had built a friendship with Emmanuel over the past few days. He felt like a colleague and fit in well with the group. Well, he's tall, describes Krish. Ndidi didn't think much of that comment as Krish was shortest in the group. You're like 3 feet, Ndidi thought to herself with amusement. Although she knew that she was exaggerating, it only made sense why Krish thought he was tall. Ndidi had become friends with everyone and was comfortable being herself. She was closest to Krish, Nisha, and Wanda. They hung out the most together, especially Ndidi and Nisha, as they were roommates. Ndidi loved her colleagues because even though they all had different perspectives of the world and different interests overall, they all still acted with kindness. Adam. Everyone seems nice so far, thought Adam. Don't be nervous, just be yourself, says Emmanuel as he waves goodbye to everyone. Adam skims through the crowd of students as they enter the bus. Okay, let's go in now, Adam says to Amma as they walk toward the bus and wave Emmanuel goodbye. Adam was thankful to Amma for joining him. Although this was his 4th year with the UW crew, he has never led the group without Emmanuel. Regardless, he knew he would be fine and was relieved to have Amma with him. She was a soon-to-be married colleague of Emmanuel and Adam. Professor Ara knew her from the past year's trip, so Professor Ara had asked Emmanuel and Adam to invite her to today's tour. Adam greets Matt, the bus driver, as he is an old friend of his. Amma sits at the back of the bus, leaving him to sit in the front. Adam continues to study the students' personalities based on their little conversations on the bus. He looks over at Ndidi and notices she is wearing a necklace with Ghana's flag as the pendant. It reminded him of the bracelet he had on. Coretta Bello's Romantic plays on the radio and Ndidi squeals excitedly. He watches her as she sings along. You know the song, huh? He teases her. Ndidi replies, Of course I do. I'm Nigerian. Oh, you're Nigerian? Yeah, I was born in Nigeria. Also, Coretta Bello is my husband. We're married, she says jokingly. Oh, wow. Seriously, that's interesting, Adam says sarcastically.